Hey, what's up, everyone? It's Zach, aka Keats39, here to break down another NFL slate. Uh, More the optimal type plays. We get a really fun slate today where there's a lot of good chalk and GPP pivots. So it's gonna be honestly, this is gonna be like one of the least chalky weeks. You'll see Dalvin Cook very highly owned, but outside of him, I really think that's going to be a pretty spread out ownership for the most part. So let's get right on into it. Starting with quarterback, I'm planning as of now to go with Ryan Fitzpatrick. Tua is doubtful, so don't expect him to play. We get Gunslinging Fitzmagic, who before he got benched was putting up 25 points every time he took the field. They priced him back down to 5,500, and he gets a matchup with the Jets that is really, really exciting. I expect him to get right back into what he was doing before, but I do expect him to be pretty popular for the quarterback. But if I'm not playing him, I really like the idea of paying up a quarterback this week. Between Patrick Mahomes and Kyler Murray, I really like both of them. I slightly lean Patrick Mahomes because that game should be really fun and high scoring. Um, just more opportunities. Pretty much a lock to throw for 300 tomorrow, I think. Um, but at the same time, Kyler Murray, Patriots are not good against running quarterbacks. Play a lot of man coverage, which, as most of you guys probably know, is a disaster against running quarterbacks. So both those guys are interesting. However, I think the sneaky game snack tomorrow, and I don't know if sneaky is the right word. I think that a lot of people will be on it. But this Bills Chargers game, I like both these quarterbacks a lot. I do lean Josh Allen tomorrow. The Chargers are missing their stud corner in Casey Hayward and their stud pass rusher in Melvin Ingram. I haven't. Let me check. Here, let me check real quick. Joey Bosa also, I know, was injured. Um, while this is loading, though, with those guys out, like the Chargers seem to get in shootouts every single week. It's same with the Bills, honestly. So this game in total, a lot of fun stack pieces with a lot of injuries. Can't find this injury, but either way, I really do like both these quarterbacks. Josh Allen is a fun guy to stack because I don't really like. I think that Gabriel Davis draws ownership, but his two higher price ones I do not think will be as high owned because of their tiers. So Stephon Diggs with no Casey Hayward, I love that stack. I don't think it's going to be owned really at all, just because of how deep wide receiver is. And same with Cole Beasley. Like with no Josh Allen, a lot of guys are going to flock to Gabriel Davis, as I said, but I think that Cole Beasley will probably be the bigger beneficiary. If that doesn't sound like the right word, but that's fine. But yeah, Cole Beasley, I think, really draws in for a nice spot tomorrow. And on the other side, with Justin Herbert, like Keenan Allen, I think he probably gets some ownership. But he is just so good this year. Ever since Justin Herbert took over, there's no reason to think he won't do the same tomorrow. He's not going to go up against Tre'Davious White. That's really all you have to worry about against them for a receiver standpoint. Yeah, so that's pretty much all I'm at for quarterback. I think Teddy makes an interesting GPP play. Daniel Jones, I think, is in play as a GPP play. But that's about it for quarterback. I'm probably going to go with one of the studs or Ryan Fitzpatrick, depending on my build. Over to running back, Dalvin Cook is going to be probably massive chalk, and rightfully so. There's so many good value plays. Really don't see a reason not to play him, especially because running back doesn't really have any of those other studs that I feel great about tomorrow. So yeah, I don't really need to talk about the matchup. It's a really good matchup. Dalvin Cook is getting force-fed the ball. No Adam Thielen, so I expect even more so. Probably 30 touches against the Panthers. Yeah, I'm in for that. So outside him, I know if you check out the other video, TK really loves Nick Chubb, and I love the play as well. I think Mike Davis is in play, but probably a little expensive for my liking, especially because they aren't really targeting him like they were before, and he's not getting necessarily like that workhorse role that he had before. Um, so then after those guys, I'm pretty much jumping down to like the 4Ks. I think Wayne Gallman at 5K is interesting, but I hate Wayne Gallman, so you won't catch me playing him. But I think he's a fair play. A pivot, Leonard Fournette. I think in this game, I think we're going to see more Fournette than Ronald Jones. I think it's going to be a pass-heavy game, and I expect them to get down, which typically leans in Fournette's favor. Unless they break a start, both those guys have not been great, so I wouldn't be surprised if they started trying some other guys out. But the next guy you go to is going to be really chalky, is Nyheim Hines. We just saw him destroy Tennessee. They are terrible on defense. No Josh Allen, and he's priced at 4.6. Yeah, I'm gonna play this chalk. I really like Nyheim Hines as a player. Last week he was expected to become the workhorse back, but Jonathan Taylor got the hot hand. They rode it. But I think that it's going to be a Nyheim Hines day. But you could pivot to Jordan Wilkins if you want a low end guy that like if you told me that he got 60% of the or 65% of the carries, I wouldn't be surprised. And they're going to get goal line work because Tennessee's defense is just bad. So I do like him, like both those guys. A big decision for me tomorrow is going to be Brian Hill versus Matt Breida. I think Brian Hill is going to have way more ownership. I don't know if it's the right. I kind of think that we see some Quadri Olson if he's active, some Ida Smith, which like I think that's fine. I still think Brian Hill is going to be the bigger guy getting carries. But people aren't going to play Matt Breida because they're scared of his work ability. And I think that it's kind of unfair just to say he's going to get less playing time than Brian Hill. We saw DeAndre Washington not even dress last week by coach's decision. Patrick Laird seems to play like hurry up downs and passing downs. So I kind of Matt Breida did take most first team reps this week, so he gets they both get great matchups. This is going to be something I debate down to the wire at the same price. But part of me wants to play Breida just because I don't expect him to be owned, and I expect Brian Hill to get a pretty fair ownership. And I would be way more surprised. Would not be surprised if Atlanta just says screw it and throws the ball a ton. We've seen it before. I don't really see that happening for the Dolphins, which they could. But I think it's more likely that we see a really pass-heavy game from the Falcons and the Dolphins. So, but yeah, that's gonna be a really, really tough decision. I debate down the lock. Over the receiver, there are so many good receivers in play this week that it's really hard to pick some. I'm gonna skip over the guys that I mentioned with the stacks. Calvin Ridley, very interesting. Even Julio Jones or not. Obviously he's banged up. He's not playing or he hasn't been practicing. Calvin Ridley has just been really good. Gets a really good matchup, and as I just mentioned, could definitely see them go with a pass-heavy offense tomorrow. So definitely like him. Going down a little bit. So I think a really tough decision for me tomorrow is going to be Justin Jefferson. Expect him to be very popular. Don't know if I really like the chalk on that part. It's one of those things where like their other receivers are really bad. So I get that he's probably going to be targeted a lot. He should be. But at the same time, they should have 3 guys on him because he's like one of the only other, no Irv Smith or Adam Thielen. So this is a tough one for me. I think he's probably priced pretty fairly. I just think that there's other guys in the range that I honestly think are kind of safer. Maybe not safer is the right word, but I just think are just as good of plays and going to be way less than him. So fine, really good, really solid play. Just I don't know if that's going to be where I go. DJ Moore, Robbie Anderson have a lot of interest in both of them. I really like playing guys against Minnesota. Their defense is really bad. Um, uh, so the guy that I have the most interest in this range is Antonio Brown. After watching the last game, it really felt to me like he was the number one guy there. And in this shootout, I go. This is kind of where I want to get my piece in it. Priced at 5.7. He got 13 targets last week. It's not like a dream matchup, but I think that with Tom Brady and Tom Brady and his chemistry seemed to be like getting to the point where like last year, like his 3 games with the Pats, it felt like that kind of. Was close to having a bigger game than he did. So Chris Godwin and Mike Evans both had better fantasy days because they both scored. I like that's gonna be like the luck of the draw there. They have so many good players, but I think that Antonio Brown's the one that I have the most interest in there. Another one, Devonte Parker. I think it's a massive boost with Ryan Fitzpatrick in. He's kind of like a chuck it and let my guy go make a play type guy compared to Tua, who's like the safer guy. Gets the Jets. Just think really good matchup. Probably it's kind of stinks because I kind of expect him to be cheaper when I open the slate, but I mean that is what it is. I still like him a lot. I mentioned Cole Beasley. Really like him in that range. So then after those guys, I'm really like not interested in any of the 4K guys. So then I'm going down to the punts, and there are a couple that I really like. I think Laviska Shenault and Keelan Cole. I have a lot of interest in both. No Denzel Ward, so the Browns I'm not scared of. I am scared of the quarterback situation in Jacksonville. That's my only hesitation. But they're pretty much daring me to play Laviska Shenault. I think he's so good with the ball in his hands. And if he's going to get this really high snap count tomorrow, it's really tough for me not to play him. Keelan Cole's like the slot guy, probably safer than Laviska, but I think way lower upside, even though we have seen him have upside games this year. 1 second. There's a couple 3K guys that I really do like this week. Next one. Gotta find him. Oh, Gabriel Davis. I already mentioned him, so don't need to go back over that. That's kind of all I think that Andy Isabella is interesting in a GPP. With no Larry, he should get snaps. But he should be getting them all year. And I think that he like whenever he is in the game, they do really like to target him down the field. So I think that for GPPs at he could put up 3 catches, 120 yards, and 2 touchdowns. I wouldn't be surprised. So especially if like Gilmore is going to be on Hopkins, so should be pretty interesting target. It would be interesting to see if they actually play him enough to get him there. So over to tight end, I'm almost locked into playing one of the studs. Travis Kelce or Darren Waller. Both have really good target shares, really good targets inside the red zone. Both have really good chances of getting 100 yards. Atlanta is the worst team against tight ends. Wide receivers at Oakland are really like not good. Even though Nelson Aguilar has been better than in the past. Henry Ruggs has yet to show that he's that first round pick status, but I think he'll get there. But I still don't feel comfortable playing him this week. The Falcons kind of sell out to stop the run. People like I mentioned this a couple times, like every week, that the Falcons are bad against running backs, but not for rushing reasons. They give up a lot of passes, but it's not really Josh Jacobs' strength. So I still expect him to pass a decent amount. Kind of think that Derek Carr is going to destroy them, and I think that Darren Waller is going to be the reason why. But as an argument for Travis Kelce, He's Travis Kelce. He's like literally. I saw a tweet the other day. I wish I remember who tweeted it, but he's literally the fantasy football MVP this year. Like if you picked him in season long, like you're in contention pretty much, unless you really screwed up. Um, every week, like he's literally so safe, and which is crazy for tight ends. That's so many 20-point games. So yeah, definitely like him a lot as well. I did like Noah Fant before all the quarterback issues came up there. Yeah, and then like, guess you had to consider Kyle Rudolph because of no Irv Smith and no Adam Thielen. Just don't like his like upside. Like, I guess he has 2 touchdown upside, but I just think that there's just way too much that can go wrong with him. Especially because I was really excited to play him last time Irv Smith missed. But what happened was it literally looked like Conklin just stepped right into Irv Smith's role almost. Like he's playing a lot of snaps. Kyle Rudolph wasn't just getting all these snaps like 100% like I really thought he would. But yeah, for the most part, I think I'm paying up at tight end. I think it's just way safer and way too many options otherwise. I usually don't mention defenses, but this week I'm playing Saints or Giants. Like, it's weird. I usually don't try to lock one in, but I'm 100% playing one of those two. I think both are good defenses going against terrible quarterbacks, so I think it's just really easy to get to them. So, yeah, that's going to do it for this week. As always, like and subscribe on the video. It's a really fun week, so take advantage of it. Later.